Hey there, Dave Gardner here, and I am actually at Freedym Fest, actually number 3. Okay, I've been a member of Ryan Lee's subscriber base for a few years now, and I've always found value from what Ryan has presented and how Ryan is just straight to the point and basically tells you how to do things in an ethical, moral way. So you feel good about it, and I apologize if you're hearing the sirens. Were in Stamford, Connecticut. It's a bigger city, so sometimes that happens, right? And I'm filming this from the hotel room where the convention is. And so back in 2015, I actually went to the first Freedym Fest, and then I was in one of his mastermind groups, so I was able to come down and spend a couple days with him again in that case. And then for some reason or other I missed the second one, second Freedym Fest, but now we're at Freedym Fest 3, so it was able to fit into my schedule, and I was able to make it happen. So just want to go over a couple key things that we picked up yesterday. Yesterday was day 1, and just a couple takeaways. I'm just going to kind of refer to my notes. I took probably 10 pages of notes yesterday, and so you can kind of see that in there, filling up the front page, not front and back, but it's a little easier. But about 10 pages, and I have other pages of notes from the previous sessions. And so one of the things to consider when you take notes at an event, you want to make sure you come back and you revisit them, because, not to sound cheesy, but it's like those are some of your uncashed checks, because there's so much knowledge and so much content, and maybe when you came to the event, you really were a little bit overwhelmed, and maybe you learned so much in a short period of time that maybe you want to just focus on one or implementing 2 of those main things that you picked up. Maybe there was 10, 15, 20 speakers, and so that doesn't mean you're going to go home and implement 40 things right away, because that would be totally overwhelming. And so just a couple things that I picked up the other day. The first one was by Justin. He was a 26-year-old. He runs a Lego company, and where they basically auto-ship products. And it was one of those, again, some of them are aha moments. Some of them are just like, ooh, that's cool, I'd like to implement in it. Or there's some of like, holy crap, why am I not doing that? So as you go through the notes, again, take good notes. If you belong to Freedym, you actually get access to those videos if you were actually here, or you might be able to purchase those videos. And so one of the things I pulled off of his, let me just find it here, just so I'm on the right page as I go through, was the idea of a wait list. And so, it brings that development of the community, and when you can tell people, okay, you can join our wait list right now, and you can actually get in with us, but, we won't be able to open up the doors until, the first of the month. And then you can actually build rapport with them, or with those subscribers over the next 10, 20, 30 days, depending on when they got in. Then they know, boom, once the first of the month or whatever that day is, they know that they can actually get in, and it's building a community, and they appreciate that it's only that one time that they can get in instead of just doing it anytime. So it's kind of like a little exclusivity. The other thing he mentioned that I think I want to implement with the group that I work with, and some other things that I do, is a wow budget. Every now and again, just wow people, wow your members, and just send out like free gifts or send out some free bonuses, just again to wow them, show them that you're there, and maybe you appreciate some of the work they did. What we heard from next was Mary Agnes Antonopoulus, and she focuses a lot on social media and YouTube. And one of the cool things that I learned from her segment, I'd heard some stuff from her before the last Freedym Fest, was the idea of adding a secret code or secret phrase in the bottom of your YouTube description. And what that'll do is that helps to pull, when you think about watching a YouTube video and you see all those other videos on the side, that will help tie your videos together instead of searching for other people's similar content and giving maybe like a a competitor's videos on the side. It'll help put yours. Also, putting links to your own playlist in your description would be a very good benefit to you when you're doing your video. So that was a cool thing that I picked up from Mary Agnes. Again, there's a ton of content here. I'm not going to go through it all. You have to be at events, because at the events you're going to get so much information. Again, it might be one thing that sparks you, maybe something else that she said sparked you different than it sparked me, but it's something that could take your business to the next level. And so, one of the other things she talked about was like a 90-day and even a 1-year plan, creating 10 things that you'd like to teach people, or 12 things you'd like to teach people, and then write those 12 things down. And what you have there is basically 12 months of content, and then you could break each one of those down into 4 major bullet points, and then there you go, you have 4 weeks. So basically you have a 52-week schedule, and so trying to force yourself into doing that and holding yourself accountable is going to be great for the business. Let's see, Jenny Thompson, Building Better Business. She came up with this idea of BED, okay, B-E-D-D, brag, embarrass, dreams, and distractions. Just talking about, things that you can do to make your business better. So, don't be afraid to, tell people the warts and all and show people where you have made mistakes. But at the same time, look at your business and figure out what would you be embarrassed to tell someone that you are doing or not doing in your business. And so, just something like that, again, easy to implement, but also, again, you have to hold yourself accountable to do it. Again, I just want to put on a couple of these here. The key thing is when you go to events, it's not just about the education that you're going to get from the room, but it's also some of the connections you make while you're talking in between at the breaks, when you go out to dinner, when you're hanging out at the bar. So for example, last night or yesterday, the event ended at around maybe 4:30ish, 4 o'clock, 4:30ish, but people were still hanging around talking. And then there was at least a dozen of us that went to an Irish pub. And we had some drinks together, and we had dinner together, and then we went inside and we continued a story, and it goes back and forth. First we're talking about different businesses that we're in and see how we can help each other, and we kind of break things down and give recommendations. But at the same time, we're also getting to know the people. We're not just talking about just business. We're also talking about kids, and we're talking about relationships, and just talking about past trips and journeys and experiences that we've had, and fun times and failures. So when you develop those relationships, so for example, I showed up, the previous night, so I was there in the morning, and one of the people in the group that I had met a couple years before, Adam Levine, I had developed a great relationship with him at the original event. We stayed in touch through Facebook, but I haven't seen him since that last event. And next thing I know, I was bending over, putting my stuff in my bag, in the beginning, or taking stuff out of the bag in the beginning, and all of a sudden I feel the tap on the shoulder, and there he was. We gave each other a big old hug, and we ended up having lunch together, talked to each other a couple times throughout the day. So it's great to develop those relationships, because you never know, it might not be able to help you right then and there, but that relationship might be something that you could benefit each other maybe a year, 2 years, 5 years down the road, as long as you do that. So again, it's not about burning bridges ever. Of course, you might be in that point where maybe you need to take the higher road, but if you're going to leave one company, still keep those connections. If you're going to maybe not be in a group or not have the membership fulfilled for a while, keep maintaining those memberships and connections and communications with those friends that you met at the actual events. Ken Allen, I had another guy that I met at one of the mini masterminds for Freedom, and so I developed a relationship with him there. And so got to catch up with him, and he actually spoke this time. It was his first time on stage, very passionate. And one of the cool things I learned from him is the idea with his Facebook groups. If you're going to have a free group, do not let them post where just the admins are posting and people can comment. But the paid group, they have a special private paid group where now the members can be, the speakers and, the people who are giving of themselves, and they're actually, creating the content for that group. So I thought that was a really good idea. That I might try implementing, or at least bringing into the group that I work with our Facebook group. Chris Winfield spoke about the unfair advantage in getting publicity, and basically the idea, one of the big key things I took from him is that, the media needs us more than, or just as much as we need the media. That, a lot of people out there are looking to create and write content and articles, and also talking about, different ways to, get your content out there and to repurpose or syndicate it. So, I might start adding some of my content on some other blogs instead of just putting it on my blog, which is just my stuff and maybe generically getting traffic, or me sharing it on Facebook and through my email list. Share some and create some of my posts onto other platforms, and so those other platforms then do the heavy work and start to generate stuff, because a lot of them will also allow you to have a signature or a connection at the bottom of your page. They can link back to maybe your own opt-in just to find out more. So again, that is a big takeaway from that from Chris Winfield. Learned from Patty Lenin talking about getting speaking gigs and just how to do a search. And one of the big thing, whether you're looking for speaking gigs or whether you're looking to create your email list, and whether you're creating more videos, whatever it is you're trying to do, the key thing that we pull out of this one is that you're always challenging yourself. Even if you're only up against yourself and you're trying to beat yourself, that's the key thing. You always have to be your biggest competitor, because deep down you know whether you were successful or not, and you know if you put the honest effort in. And so, you know, she kind of shared a story where she thought she was in a competition with a couple other people, and at the end of the year they were like, what are you talking about? They totally forgotten about it. But inside she won it. She met her goals. And so, you know, always be challenging yourself to do something and then stick with it. So, you know, hold yourself accountable, whether you're writing it down, whether you're doing something different. And this is another cool thing that I learned at dinner. So outside of it, one of the other guys that's going to speak today, actually, he actually charged his mother $300, but when his mom submitted content every day, he gave her $10 back. So at the end, it was basically holding herself accountable. She didn't, you know, lose any money. She got the money back. I'm assuming if she did all 30 days. But it was kind of a really cool incentive that, you know, I'm going to charge you. You know, you give me the $300. I'll hold the $300. If you don't do this, if I don't see record or if I don't see an updated post daily, then I'm not going to give you the $10. So again, there's that pain that, okay, if I don't do it, it's going to, you know, it's going to hurt me in the long run. Or the benefit of, okay, if I did do it, I get the money back, and now I have all this content that's going to stay forever. Okay, remember, your blog, as long as you're maintaining your blog stays forever. As long as you don't, you know, go against terms of Facebook or, you know, especially more specifically YouTube, that content and those videos go forever. Take some of the other information you learn from some of the other marketers, and you tie that all in together, and next thing you know, now I have, you know, good content, I have, you know, quality videos, and I have good descriptions, and it's something that lasts forever, so that I can consistently be found. I might be found years later, and it's funny, I have some videos where, you know, I created them 4, 5, 6, 7 years ago, and I'm still getting some comments. It's not consistent, but I'll randomly get comments because someone is searching for something, and because I set it up correctly, they end up on my page. So again, there's a lot to be learned, and again, this is just day one. Can't stress enough to go to get in events. Make sure you're taking some good notes. Make sure you're referring back to those notes. But one of the key things, of course, is you have to take action. You can't just take the notes and not implement it. You know, on the way down here, instead of listening to the radio for 4.5 hours when I drove, I was listening to a couple audiobooks. And so, you know, that process is going in my head. I'm always trying to make myself a little bit better, because the information that I can gain, I can then start to share with people. And so, you know, put yourself in that leadership role. Give yourself that authority status where, you know, you become the one that people are looking at, and you're the one that people are going to follow, because you're increasing your knowledge base. So again, get to events. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, well, we hope, of course, you're coming to the Freedym. Feel free to join us. You can check it out. They have awesome memberships. And, you know, basically, if you think about the things that I talked about just from the event from yesterday, there's stuff in the Freedym membership that talks about all different facets of marketing, whether it's doing Facebook ads or creating YouTube or creating membership sites, you know, recurring revenue, one-page opt-ins, you know, or, you know, one-page membership sites with, you know, just like a 2 front page and you know, opt-in page and a thank you page. So whether you want to be simple or complex, there's a lot of details and a lot of information in the Freedym group. And again, recommend, can't be high enough recommending Ryan Lee. Again, I've been following him. He's one of the few people that, you know, I still open his email daily. Most of the other people I just got rid of because it was always a push, buy this, buy that, try this, try that, you know, you need this in order to be successful. Where Ryan kind of gets rid of that idea and just talks about how, you know, we can go through this, we can do this. Yeah, you're going to have to bust your ass to do it, but there's a more ethical way to do it instead of just sending people. It's not always about making the money. It's about, you know, are you satisfied with where you're at? You know, I don't want to be, you know, I mean, would it be nice to be a multimillionaire? Sure, but is that going to, you know, change how I am? You know, it shouldn't. I would just be able to experience more of the things that I've always wanted to do, to more travel, you know, and to be more philanthropic and to give things and to go around in the world. So, for example, I'm wearing my Peace Corps shirt, okay? I always keep that to my core. I was a Peace Corps volunteer, and, you know, it's one of those things where I was able to teach and volunteer my services overseas. I would love to be able to go over and do that, not necessarily as a Peace Corps volunteer, maybe as a Peace Corps volunteer again. You know, I would do that once my kids got older again. But just the idea, you know, even shorter trips, just to go and do things like with Habitat for Humanity or, you know, some other places where they have disaster areas and go in and help rebuild, or to go teach for a month, you know, just to do something just to give back. And, when you can build your business on the side, and then eventually, where I'm going for, my goal is to, retire myself and have that, ability to live that lifestyle that I want to live with basically freedom. And so, again, it's taking in the content, it's making the connections, it's networking with people, and it's about continuing that effort. Okay, if you don't ever quit, you will start to see successes, and those successes will turn into growth over time. And then next thing you know, you might be on leaderboards, and you might be the top person ranking on Google and on the top of YouTube. So again, take action in your notes, get to events, and don't ever stop. All right, we'll talk to you soon.